I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about did they ever care? So oftentimes when we're going through a breakup, we can feel like our partner never even cared about us. And it's so painful because you oftentimes even question the legitimacy of the relationship all along. And sometimes there's real good reason for that. Maybe you found out that they were doing a lot of deceitful, shady behavior the whole time. I deal with breakups all the time where the person's been cheating for months or even years before you found out about it. So yeah, it can really make you wonder if that person even ever cared about you to begin with. And you know, it's really a fair assessment. And it's something that you really want to think about and understand, because you're spending a lot of time and energy wondering if you should take them back or if you should try and get them back. And if they never really cared about you to begin with, do you even really want them back? And I think that a person will really show you who they are during a breakup, and they will show you a lot of who they are as a person during the breakup. I mean, I look for things like, did they have integrity? Did they act like an adult? Were they honest or compassionate with you? Were they selfish? Did they just ghost you? You know, vanish on you like, I see that all the time. And I look at those factors when you guys are, doing the Skypes with me or even with the email coachings. I look at that and it gives me some insight into what's going on and how to take it. So I got a good email today from a woman in her early 30s, and she was dating a guy in his mid-30s for about 6 months. So she was telling me a little bit about the situation, and she mentioned that his parents got divorced when he was fairly young, and the family moved around a lot. Now, here's something interesting she said about him, is that the mom was constantly moving to try and evade the father, and he doesn't even know why. So could you imagine your mom is constantly moving you away from your dad, and you had no idea why? That would make somebody really angry and confused, and that would really affect their ability to trust people and be in a healthy romantic relationship. Now, what made that even worse is that the dad tried unsuccessfully to contact him and his sibling throughout all that time, and when he was in his middle school years, his dad was killed. So you can imagine how much anger and resentment this guy would have towards his mom for taking him away from dad. Now, maybe dad did something awful, but if that's the case, mom needs to come clean and tell them, because then they could at least understand her motives. And if she doesn't, they're going to stay angry at her and have all this unresolved anger and contempt. But you could see how that would affect his ability to trust people and be in a healthy romantic relationship. So, she said they saw each other about once a week because of his work schedule. He also has his own daughter, and sometimes the daughter's with mom, sometimes with him. And they live about 40 minutes away from each other, so it was a challenge to see each other. Now, she said he was very affectionate, complimentary, and well-mannered. And they had great chemistry and laughed a lot. They never argued. But after a couple of months, she noticed that he started texting her less and became emotionally distant in between the visits. So, that made me question whether or not he can handle attachment. Because some people are great in the early stages of dating, but when it comes to attachment, they're a complete disaster. She said that he blamed it on stress and not sleeping well, because everything was still good when they were hanging out, And so she was kind of minimizing his behaviors, ignoring them, because when they were together it was good, but when they were apart, she was feeling disconnected and like he didn't really care, and rightfully so. She said he stopped initiating communication altogether and would take several hours to respond when I would text him. I finally told him that things were not working and we should part ways. He immediately requested that we talk in person because he had strong feelings for her, but other things were getting in the way. Well, you know, I can understand to some extent because it can be very difficult at times as an adult, but at the same time, you can't just make excuses and not see your partner. She said, I agreed to give him one last chance. Unfortunately, the talk never occurred because that same night, I got notified by a mutual friend of his ex-girlfriend that she had been sleeping with him since November. So, what the heck is that? All of a sudden, she finds out this guy has been intimate with somebody else all along. That is awful. And it's terrible for her to experience that, for him to do that to her. That is just a real piece of garbage thing to do. She said, I confronted him about it. He got defensive, angry, and denied everything, saying she is lying and wants to ruin his reputation. I didn't believe him, as she had no reason to lie due to the fact she didn't even know he had a girlfriend while she was seeing him. She said she was completely devastated, heartbroken, and however, she didn't call or text him excessively. Well, I can understand her feeling like that. Can you imagine? You've been dating for somebody for a long time, 6 months, it's going fairly good. They start to slow down, you start to wonder what's going on, you decide to cut things off, and then you find out, oh, they've been sleeping with somebody that entire time. That's wrong. And this guy is really telling you that he really doesn't care about you, because his actions are showing you that he doesn't really care about you. Because if he did, he would not have been sleeping with other people behind your back and, you know, being that deceitful about where things were between you. So she said, this past weekend I texted him how hurt I was. He responded with, I miss you. What is that? I miss you? I asked if we could talk in person. He never replied. Well, if he really missed you, then he would actually be doing something about it. This guy's words and his actions do not add up at all. He's saying one thing, he's doing another. He's acting like he cares about you, but he's sleeping with other people. He says he misses you, but then he makes no effort to even talk about it. This guy is like very deceitful, and it's really, really immature and selfish. Okay? So she had a few questions for me. She said, he seemed to have cared about me so much. How could he do this? Well, unfortunately, there are many people in this world who can act like they care about you and then vanish from your life. And they can tell you all the right things, make you all the promises you've been wanting to hear, and then their actions don't add up. And you always want to look at that. So, you know, if you look at his behavior, he obviously didn't care about you as much as he let on, because he was sleeping with somebody else for what it seems like most of that time, an ex-girlfriend at that, and making excuses not to see you. Who even knows if he was working as much as he was? Because I have had people that I've worked with that have caught people saying, oh, I'm working all the time, when in actuality it was just a lie. So this guy probably has an avoidant attachment style and may not attach well to anyone, because there's really no reason to act like this with people. It takes somebody very selfish and self-absorbed to repeatedly sleep with you and be intimate with you, but be living another life and lying to you about who they are and what's going on in their life. So she said, is he still in love with his ex after a year of being broken up, or was it just for sex? Who knows? It's hard to know with this situation because he's been lying to you or been deceitful to you the whole time. So who knows? Maybe he's still hung up on the ex. That's entirely possible. Maybe he is just sleeping with her for sex. But human beings are meant to bond and have connections with other people. And if he had a real connection with you, he wouldn't want to be intimate with other people, or at least lie to you about it, because if he really cared about you, he wouldn't want to hurt you like that. She wants to know if she'll ever hear from him again. Well, if you're lucky, you won't, because you move on to find somebody that is better for you, because you want an adult. You want somebody that is going to be there for you at the end of the day. You don't want somebody that's going to lie to you and live a double life and act like they care about you, but at the end of the day, they're nothing but, a mirage, right? This guy is just empty promises. And I would make him work long and hard before I ever trusted this guy again. And quite honestly, I wouldn't recommend it for this situation. So, unfortunately, I think his actions show that he probably didn't ever care very much. That's my interpretation of this situation based on what you've told me. Of course, had we done a Skype, this is an email coaching, I would have gotten a lot more details out of their relationship. But his bottom line behavior, he's lying to you, and he's kind of living a double life, and he's probably lying about his own personal life and his work schedule and all that. So, if you want to get my help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. If you like the video, put a like on there. I do appreciate that. And be sure to subscribe to the channel because I do post videos Monday through Friday. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.